Hey and welcome back to another video with DevPool. And I want to talk to you about what type of apps and tools do I personally use that help me to make my work go smoother, faster and more productive when it comes to software development and video editing. And in the past couple of years, I went from one tool to another many times in different aspects or in different categories, and I was never able to find really good tools that help me with my productivity. But in recent years, a lot of good tools came out, or they were ready to be used in production. I tried them out personally, and I was really satisfied with them. They were able to solve specific problems or my specific use cases, and they are pretty free to use. I'm not paying for any one of them, and I want to share that with you guys. So let's get that started then. And the first tool I would recommend is Typora. Typora by itself is an organizing file system tool. That's all it is pretty much. But when it comes to let's say you're working on multiple projects, or let's say you have multiple classes you're currently enrolled in school, well, you need to organize yourself, not to lose files, not to lose specific information. And they have done a pretty good job in that regard, because right now as I'm using it, I'm able to find my files, specific things that I'm looking for much faster, simpler. And that is something I do recommend for you guys to use. Oh, there's one more tool I forgot to mention, and that is Notion. The way I use it as a knowledge base, meaning that within my team, if there is something that I want to point out within a project or keep a track of it for everybody in the team to know, I'm just going to put it there. So whoever else going to come into the team, or if there's something that I forgot how to do a specific thing or whatever it is, I'll be able to go into that platform. And one of the things I like about it is that I can use it on my smartphone, I can use it on my PC, I can use it in a web browser, so I don't have to download an application. So it's pretty really flexible, meaning that no matter where I am, I'll have access to it. The second tool that I use every day is Brave Browser. They're very specific on privacy and security of your data, and as well as they block a lot of ads from different websites. So if you were to go onto Brave right now website, if you were to download, use it for one day, just go into a different tab, you'll notice that they track how many ads they have blocked, how much of bandwidth they have saved for you, and you'll see how much time you can save from that as well. I've been using that browser for the past year, or if not 2 years actually, and I've been satisfied so far. I'll keep on using it, and that is something I'll recommend for you guys as well. And of course, with that Brave browser, I have downloaded an extension called LastPass. LastPass allows you to store all your passwords, usernames for all of your accounts in one centralized place. And they do have a nice feature, by the way, where you can generate a password of any length with any characters. So if you can't think of a specific password for a website and you do want for it to be very secure, well, they do have that feature to generate the password. So go check it out. The third tool that I use is Jira or Trello. They are both tracking system tools. So whenever I'm working on specific features, or whenever I work on a project, I do create tickets, I do create tasks for the specific thing where everybody just can see what I'm currently working on. And I also can see what they are working on. And it's really good because no one is going to be in conflict in terms of who is working on what. It's very clear. And both of those tools are also free to use. The next powerful tool I would recommend is Visual Studio Code. I personally use it for web development, backend, frontend, doesn't really matter what is it for. You can use it for Python, C++, I believe, for any type of a language really. It's really powerful, it has a lot of different packages for you to install to play with. And if you are, let's say, working on a front-end and your application requires a server, well, they also have a plugin for that where you just run it using Visual Studio Code, and you have your server running right from your editor. So it's a really cool tool. I suggest to check it out as it does help me with my productivity. So the next tool that I use is mostly for Windows users, because Apple people don't really have to worry about that, or Linux users, and that is WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux. And what it is it's just a Linux environment on Windows that allows you to run any of your Linux commands, any of your applications. So whenever I work on my apps, or whenever I work on my products, I put them into WSL environment. So whenever I compile them, it runs much faster, and I'm able to use my Linux commands in there. So if you're a Windows user and you're not using that yet, I suggest you to take a look into that and start using it. Oh, and by the way, while we're talking about WSL, currently right now I'm building my PC, and very soon I'll be creating a video about that. So why don't you subscribe and I'll show you my new workstation with all of the tools that I have mentioned and will be mentioning right now. The next tool that I use for my web development projects is Figma. And the way I use Figma is whenever I do need to create a design for a website, that is the main tool I go to. Because if I need to create a template and it's required to be friendly on mobile device, on desktop device, well, I'm able to create a template once and I'm able just to resize the template and it's gonna be able to generate specific result for me on the fly. So if you're going to be doing some sort of a design work for front end, I do recommend to take a look at Figma. And the next tool that I use quite a lot is Discord. It allows me pretty much to stay in contact with my friends, and whenever we are screen sharing, whenever we need to make some sort of a call, well, it has all these features. It doesn't delete your history, like if you're to use Slack for free, for example, where it has a specific number of records you can store in or a specific time frame, it will just delete it after, let's say, 2 weeks or 1 month or whatever, and then you can go back into your history. Well, I do want to keep that history to go back to it in the future, and that's why I use Discord. So the next tool that I use is Photoshop. I mainly use it for my thumbnails, for my videos. By the way, do you like them? Leave a comment down below. I used that tool back in high school and I'm still using it right now. It's pretty powerful, very easy to use. So if you're planning to create thumbnails or just in general to create awesome pictures, I recommend Photoshop. The next tool that I'm starting to look into and I have signed up for free for now, and that is the Premiere Pro. It overall pretty much allows you to edit your videos. I've seen some tutorials. It's really powerful, super easy to use. So that is something I'll be using it very soon. And the next tool that I use every day is Insomnia. Overall, it allows me to send and get requests from my backend. So if I don't have access to frontend, if I don't have frontend, or if I don't even want to run it because I don't need to, I'll just simply use Insomnia to talk to my RESTful API to check if specific endpoint or something is working, and then I'll get just a response back with specific data or if there's an error, and that's how I'll actually be testing my backend without touching frontend. And that's it. Those are the tools that I use or help me with productivity whenever it comes to web development or software development, as well as creating videos. I hope you enjoyed it, liked it, and I do hope that you'll be using one of those tools, if not more. And why don't you let me know in a comment, what is it you're going to be using right now or switching to? Well, thanks for stopping. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next video. Bye.